Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the CEO Mastery Show. I am your host, Amanda Holmes. This particular episode means a lot to me because something very exciting has happened in the CHI world. We just launched and announced the first ever Business of Biohacking Summit, which is being put on by Dave Asprey. For those of you that aren't familiar with Dave Asprey, maybe you've heard of Bulletproof Coffee. He invented Bulletproof Coffee and scaled that to a very large organization. He then started a conference called the Biohacking Conference, which now has 5,000 attendees every year. And the whole premise around it is how to live a healthier, longer life. He always says, I want to live to 180, but he wants to do it pain-free and living a vivacious life. So the people come far and wide that are interested in bettering their health and using the cutting edge of science and technology to blend with what's actually working in the body to help you live a healthier, happier life. I have to say, I went to my second one just 2 weeks ago, and it is by far my favorite conference, ever. It's just so exciting to go through all of the different booths and see all these new inventions that truly can change health as we know it, every single one of them. And there's over 100 sponsors. And a quarter of those sponsors at Biohacking Conference have some kind of ownership or structure where Dave Asprey is a part of it. And it's very brilliant what he's been able to build in this biohacking industry. Biohacking is now said to be a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's supposed to grow by 400% over the next 8 years. So it is growing like rapid fire for all those other industries that are really struggling right now, and there are lots of them. We know because we see it with clients that come in the door. This particular industry is just taking off with jet fuel. So that's why it's such a wonderful joy that we've been able to partner up with Dave Asprey and the team at the Asprey Group to be able to bring Business of Biohacking. Now, I'm going to do a whole episode on the backstory to that because we used education-based marketing and the Dream 100 concept to take what people have been trying to do for a decade to partner with Dave Asprey. We did in 4 months, and I look forward to sharing that with you. But this particular episode is more about the Business of Biohacking. What is it? So I'm going to flip over. Stephanie, their head of content at Dave Asprey's group, had asked me to record a video. We were at Biohacking Conference. Can you just talk about Business of Biohacking? So this is a little clip that we recorded. Go ahead and watch that. Attention biohacking companies. We're in the middle of a health crisis. Cancer has skyrocketed for people of the age under 50 by 79%. Obesity has gone through the roof, 170% over the last 30 years. We're having a financial crisis with 3,076 businesses shutting their door every single day. And yet, when we look at all of these people that are sick and unhealthy, we don't bridge the gap between what that problem is and the actual services that can help them. If you think about in the health industry, 30,000 new products are created and 70% of them will never make it to market. Those that do, only 8% of them make above $1 million in annual sales. And of that, only 2% make it to 50 million and beyond. So if you want the skills to get it from $1 million to 5, from 5 million to 10, from 10 million to 100 million and beyond, I highly recommend our new Business of Biohacking Summit. Okay, it's happening in September. It's not just another one of those events where you go and you get pitched all day and everybody's talking from stage and you don't get the opportunity. You will have the opportunity to get on the mic with just a fraction of biohacking businesses with Dave Asprey and his wonderful group of friends. We're talking Joe Polish, we're talking Jay Abraham, myself, Amanda Holmes. We'll be able to not only pitch, but you'll also get opportunities to create strategic partnerships and joint ventures in the room. I would go just for the people in the room, but then also it will be backed by the Ultimate Sales Machine. I am the new author of the Ultimate Sales Machine. We've assisted 250,000 businesses on how to double sales. We've generated over $52 billion for our clients. It is a system that works. You will walk away with your game plan on how to double your sales while cutting your stress in half. I can't wait to see you there. Businessofbiohacking.com. Again, that's businessofbiohacking.com. And some of you are listening to this on audio, so you don't see what that clip was. But for those of you that could see it on YouTube, I am wearing, it's called a human billboard. I actually named her Bessie because she's my most favorite inanimate object that I own. She's quite the showstopper at events. But this episode isn't about Bessie, even though I made sure to put her in the contract with Dave Asprey Group that I would not work with them unless they allowed me to bring Bessie to the Biohacking Conference. And I didn't say human billboard, I said Bessie, which I thought was funny, later on realizing that nobody had caught that strange hiccup in the legal documentation. I say that I need to bring Bessie. Who would have even known what Bessie is? So it's pretty funny. But anyways, the Business of Biohacking Summit. This was really exciting for me because when I went for my first time to the Biohacking Conference last year, I was walking through the halls and I just kept saying, we need a business mastery for biohacking conferences. And the backstory to that is when Tony decided that he wanted to do more than just life coaching, he wanted to do business coaching. That's when he partnered up with my father, Chet Holmes, and they created together Business Mastery. A lot of our methodology and the back end to that was my father. So as I'm walking through the halls, I'm just looking at this going, there has to be a business mastery for biohackers, biohacking companies. I just kept repeating it. I was obsessed with the concept to where when we were eating dinner with Dave Asprey a couple months later, and he said, I'm building a business mastery for biohacking companies. Literally out of me, just this gut-wrenching sound of, you need me, came out. And it was rather awkward at the time. And I don't think I've ever been so blunt. I usually am a little bit more savvy. I knew in that moment that we really had to be a part of that. So it is an honor, all the work that we've been doing over the last 5 decades and what I've done over the last decade to reinvent and help Ultimate Sales Machine help other companies. This particular conference, a large chunk of it will be me training companies, biohacking companies, longevity companies, health companies, those that want to invest in these companies, which I would highly recommend if you've got some cash and you're looking to actually make a difference in society and put your money behind something that can really change our healthcare system, which is in dire need. I would highly recommend applying, businessofbiohacking.com. But you go to so many conferences where it's just people speaking on a mic, and this is more about getting more people there on the mic. So, getting people up and testing their pitch in front of the room and getting critique from the room, from the experts, getting training on how to refine that pitch, getting training on how to get up to 9 times more clients from the same moves you're already making. How do you craft that top of funnel message so that it stops them in their tracks in less than 60 seconds? And then strategic partnerships. I talk a lot about the Dream 100, the fastest, least expensive way to double sales. It's the one strategy that has doubled the sales of more companies than any other. Sometimes it's not just about finding your bigger, better buyer. Sometimes it's about strategic partnerships or joint ventures where you serve the same people and your products or services are complementary. So in that room, everyone will be in the same industry, and I guarantee you there is so much money to be made in a way that is a win for not only you, a win for your strategic partner, and a win for your clientele. Creating that triple threat, creating such a win that we will facilitate those introductions so that you walk away with potentially a fantastic joint venture that can generate you ROI. And the great thing about joint ventures, right, is usually they don't cost you money. Facebook ads and Google ads are up 30% right now. It is more expensive than ever before to generate a lead. So why not work with somebody where it doesn't cost you a dime and they're happy because they're selling to their current clients and you're happy because you're fulfilling on that? Those are 2 things that I will help facilitate. And there will be other speakers too, like I said in the clip. More than anything, my father died at 55. Actually, technically, if I'm really being honest, he died at 56. But we had an argument. The last argument we had was he was fighting with me that he was 55. I mean, he was pumped with so many drugs. It was really hard for him to know right from wrong or up from down. And he said, no, I'm 55. I'm like, no, you are 56. And so as a joke to him, to honor him, I always say that he died at 55, but he really died at 56. Still so young. He had so much more to do in this world, but he couldn't get over his fight with cancer. So part of my journey over the last 12 years has been to study alternative medicine. I have a guru that I study under. I work a lot with a nonprofit called Divine Bliss International, and that fills my cup and feeds my soul. And that's really why I do the work at CHI that I do, is because of that dream and the desire to help heal others and prevent disease from happening. I mean, I couldn't do it for my father, but I could do it for others. So that's why I'm so incredibly passionate about this business of biohacking. I'm in it for the long haul. I want to see over the next, like I said, 400% growth over the next 8 years. Telemedicine is through the roof, right? They're inventing magnificent detections that can find Alzheimer's 10 years before it happens, find a heart murmur before you'd even notice. I mean, there's such magnificent things that are being discovered, and yet the mass population knows nothing about them because you're a brilliant scientist, you're a brilliant doctor, you're a brilliant engineer. But whoever taught you the skills to grow a business? And the good news is it's not about doing 4,000 different things, right? It's about doing a few things 4,000 times. There's just a few skills that if you study them with pig-headed discipline and determination, you can grow. And we know because we've tested it with 250,000 different businesses and generated, over 52 billion in sales for our clients. So it's a very simple 4-part framework that helps you double your sales while cutting your stress in half. I'm all about simplifying. Simplify, simplify, simplify. So that by the time that this 2.5 days ends, you are walking out the door in your hand with a plan. Majority of events you go to, you hear all these people talk, and then you leave more confused than you were when you started. So that's the point of this. We really came together and said, people should be clear and concise when they leave. They should have an action plan with steps. They should be already generating leads or sales before they've left. That is the plan, templates, challenges, strategic steps that help give you the leverage you need so that you're not just chasing the dollar the rest of your life. I am honored to be a part of the Business of Biohacking Summit, and we are being particular about who we allow in because it's a very small fraction of people in comparison to the Biohacking Conference that are being allowed in. So if you go to businessofbiohacking.com, you can apply. And maybe you're even saying, I've always had a dream to help with that, with this industry or health, and maybe you want to put some backing behind it. Just make sure that you say, what can I bring to the room? Make sure you give your best pitch in that one question in the application. It takes less than 4 minutes. I mean, it's a quick application, but really give us your all of why you should be in that room, because it's going to be a powerful room. JJ Virgin speaking, I'm speaking, Dave Asprey speaking, Joe Polish is speaking, Jay Abraham is speaking, and the people in the room are magnificent. So looking forward to seeing you there. Businessofbiohacking.com is where you can apply. Bye-bye for now.
Make sure to get your copy or copies at theultimatesalesmachine.com. There's a lot of special bonuses that you can't get going to Amazon, so make sure you check it out at ultimatesalesmachine.com.